All right, I think we're in this piece. We're here. Welcome to another week. A Wednesday live edition. So this one is going to be dope. As you know, every week is dope. I'm always going to bring you the real, the rawness, the behind the scenes, and give you some insight that's going to help you get to that next level of your career success. So today is going to be an action-packed 30 minutes. I appreciate you joining. Let me make sure all my comments and everything is open. My boxes is open. If you don't like being on camera, I understand that. But listen, if you do like being on camera, you're welcome to get on the camera with me. I want to make sure the comment box is open. With that being said, today we're going to be streaming across YouTube, LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. So I thank you for joining. If you could please just drop your first name, where you're from, that or the streaming service that you're actually watching this on. That'd be great. That'll help me with my analytics to know what actually works. So today's LinkedIn Live. It's LinkedIn, but I'm broadcasting across everything. Today's title is Doing More, Earning Less. And I actually repeated it twice, doing more and earning less, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to break that cycle, help you get to that next level of your career success. So welcome to today's LinkedIn Live. I'm Patrick, as you know. And listen, if you've been given 120%, but you still feel stuck at that same level, well, this one is for you. And I'm tired of it. I know you're tired of it too. It's like you're time after time, we're working, we're busting our tail. And for whatever reason, it just feels like we're not getting the attention that we deserve. That's why this title is Doing More, Earning Less, Doing More, Earning Less. We're going to break that cycle today. And why I repeated it, because that's what it feels like. It's like that hamster wheel. You continue to show up. You continue to put in the hours. Hey, Lachey, thank you for popping in. Always good to see you. You're doing more and you're earning less. You're putting in all the hours, whether it's 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours. Some people putting in 100 hours a week, but yet their check-ins and savings, it still doesn't add up to their work ethic. And we want to break that cycle today. And so we're looking to do that. Today, it isn't just about insight. Today, this is going to be a real-time blueprint to help you shift your career trajectory so we can get you to that next level of your career success. There's going to be multiple different sections here. There's 3 sections. Each section, I have bullet points or talking points that I'm going to go through. You feel free to drop your comments or questions in the chat box at any point you can, and I try to work through those as well as we do that. So section 1, let's dive right into this. Section 1, why hard work isn't working. Oh, this is a trap right here. There's 3 invisible traps right here, and I'm going to run through this. Invisible trap number 1, overfunctioning. Ooh, what is this, Pat? Talk to me. What is overfunctioning? It's because you're the dependable one, right? You're the fixer, you're the go-to, but instead of a promotion, what do? You get more work. That's the dependable one. That's overfunctioning. That's that person that you go to work in the office, you go home. You go to work, you're busting your tail. Your initial team, they see you. They say, okay, they see the hours you put in. But when you go home at night, you're frustrated. You're complaining to your significant others. You're complaining to people in your circle how hard you work and how little visibility that you actually get. And so, meaning you're that person, you're busting your tail, but your checking and savings is not adding up to the work that you've been putting in. You're the overfunctioning one, right? So the insight here, overfunctioning, it trains people to overlook you as a leader because you're too busy executing instead of being seen as strategic. This is a challenge for a lot of people. Meaning you go to work, you bust your tail, but leadership, they don't notice you because you're a head down hustler. Like, they know, okay, yeah, Patrick, he busts his tail, but strategically, what is he doing to become visible to help the organization grow in this particular level? So I want to help you shift from that overfunctioning person to becoming that leader, and your check-ins and savings actually adding up to the person you need to be. So overfunctioning is 1. Invisible trap number 2, being reactive as opposed to proactive. And I feel like we all understand the difference between the two, but let me break it down. Reactive is you're that person, the minute a fire takes off, right? You're the person that shows up with the freaking fire extinguisher and you can put it out at any point in time. You're really, really good at that, right? Like, you're reacting to what actually took place versus being proactive, meaning proactive. If you're being proactive as a leader, what you're doing here is you're actually thinking about problems or fires that may actually happen, and then you're thinking through how to solve them before they actually happen. Now, you need to ask yourself, which one am I doing? Am I the reactive leader or am I the proactive leader? What organizations are looking for today, they're looking for that proactive leader. I need to identify problems before they happen And then we put processes and systems in place to help ensure that they don't happen because we're trying to prevent a meltdown. So this is the invisible trap number 2. You're being reactive as opposed to proactive. You're always solving someone else's fire, but you're never driving initiatives that are visible for yourself or the organization. I'll pause there, let that sink in. Fatima, okay. Thank you for watching from Nigeria. Appreciate that. Hey, I got a sidebar from Nigeria. So I just did my ancestry DNA. I got those results back like 2.5, 3 months ago. And I found out your boy's Nigerian. Like, I didn't even know. Listen, I was so freaking excited. I'm Nigerian. I did my whole, like, my makeup. Over 70% of my makeup was from Western Africa. So I was like, your boy is freaking African 100%. So if y'all see me in some different garbs, it's only because I'm representing my culture. And I'm truly excited about that. But that was a sidebar. So thank you for tapping in. You just made me think about that. So yeah, so overfunctioning was invisible trap number 1. Invisible trap number 2 was being reactive and not proactive. Now let's get into invisible trap number 3. This is no brand. Yep, thank you, fire. That's what I'm saying. I'm just as excited as you are. Listen, so invisible trap number 3 is you have no brand, which means you have no leverage. Oh, this is going to be a good one right here. I'm so excited to talk about this one right here because brand is the theme of the time that we're in today. You have to create a brand for yourself, which creates opportunities for yourself. If you have no visibility outside of your team, people, they don't know the good work that you do. And because of that, that doesn't create opportunity because they don't know who you are. They don't know what you stand for. That's what your brand allows you to do. Your brand allows people to know what you stand for without seeing the work that you actually do. You see what I'm saying? This is the value of creating a brand. Let me give you an example here. So I'm in my 40s, okay? So a lot of the people, and I want you to think about this. I want you to think about your favorite celebrities, right? So I'm in my 40s. A lot of my favorite celebrities, they were popping, 10, 15 years ago, maybe even 20 years ago. Like their star was huge, right? But if you look at a lot of these celebrities today, their brand is so big, even though they're not doing that thing that they were known for. Think of your favorite singer, even though they're not, top 100 or top 10 in the charts with music because they're not producing any music anymore. Their brand is so freaking bright, they're still getting opportunities. You see what I'm saying? They're getting opportunities to be brand sponsors. They're featured on podcasts. They're featured in television ads. They're on the radio. That's what your brand allows you to do. So I want you to think of yourself as a brand. If you think of yourself as a brand, even when you're not with an organization, your brand is so visible that it creates opportunities for yourself outside of that organization. You see what I'm saying? You can nod your head. Think of yourself as a brand. Inside here, you need to understand you're not just an employee. You're a brand. You truly are. If you're invisible, you're replaceable. And you can say, hey, Patrick, everybody replaceable. Absolutely. 100% everybody's replaceable. But it gets back to the example I gave you. If your brand is big enough, even though you're not doing that one thing, it creates other opportunities for you. So when you think of your profile across, I guess maybe it's LinkedIn. If you think of your profile across LinkedIn, is your brand creating opportunities for you outside of the organization that you actually work for? Most of the opportunities that you're going to find, people actually find you. And they find you because they find your brand appealing, exciting, thoughtful, interesting, right? Somebody that they can actually contribute to the organization's growth and success. So this is so important. My talking point right here. Drop that stop sign, that fire emoji in the chat if you've ever done more than the job required, and you still get passed over for the opportunity. Raise your hand. You've done way more than what was required for you, but somehow you still get passed over for that opportunity. I'll be the first one to raise my hand. It's happened to me. Like, I'm one of those guys. I believe in hard work because I think that a lot of that is culturally, and a lot of us, we fall into that. Culturally, it tells you that what you need to do is you need to earn your degrees, then you need to find an employer, then you need to bust your tail, right? You need to put in 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 hours a week. You have to do that. And then if you do that, you're going to get noticed by somebody that's going to create you an opportunity. And finally, you're going to get that corner office that you was looking for. This is what the culture teaches us, right? That go bust your tail, get your degrees, show up for 40 hours. What I'm telling you, that doesn't work. And I see your hand. Thank you, Lachey, for popping in. What actually gets you to the next level of visibility? We want to be visible. And how we do that, we create that van. So, I mean, that brand. Section number two. All right. So, section number one was about why hard work isn't working. Section number two is about the shift to a strategic career ownership. Okay. Let me know if I'm going too fast, I'm going too slow, but I'm trying to keep pace with making sure we're on time. We get it all in within 30 minutes. So, section number two is the shift to a strategic career ownership. And that shift number one is going to be from executor to expert. Instead of just checking boxes, right? Ask, what am I known for? Like, what are you known for? The other thing you need to be asking yourself, what problems do you solve better than anybody else on the team or within the organization? Those two things I want you to ask yourself. What are you known for and what problems do you solve? If you think of yourself like that when you go into the office, when you show up at your place of work, now we're focused and we're honing in, we're leaning into what we're really, really good at. What am I known for? And what problems do I solve? Right? Okay. Thank you for keeping up. So for me, what I was known for is, I was a people person that I could speak to anybody, but I was really, really good at mentorship. That was my thing. And then I was good at putting out client fires. So, and then the other thing that I was really good at is coming up with like marketing ideas for organizations, right? So from a brand and visibility standpoint, how to help organizations show up brighter, connect with more people. Those were like the 3 or 4 things that I was really, really good at. So I started leaning into that more. So I became known for, hey, Patrick, he's a problem solver, but also he's a resource because he's the guy that's going to help you identify your problem where you are today and help us get to where we need to be tomorrow. The other thing too is I was really good at listening to clients. What I understood is clients, they had frustrations, and a lot of their frustrations geared towards they just wanted someone to hear them out. And I got really, really good at that. So I ran a tech business unit serving over 8,000 clients nationwide, and we sold that technology company in 2018, end of 2018. But when I started that position, I had about 5 or 6,000 clients, maybe 5 or 6,000 clients that I stepped into, right? And part of the job is how do you retain those existing clients? So I made it a point to reach out to those clients, introduce myself, identify who they are, some of the problems that they have with our tech, some of the future innovative ideas that they wanted to be seen. And then I would fly out to them, sit with them, understand their different and better story, what are they looking for, and then how I can contribute as an organization, right? So I got really, really good at that. And that helped me retain over 95% of our clients and still grow revenue to the tune of over 30% year over year over year. I was able to do that because I leaned into what I was known for. I leaned into problem solving. So you need to ask yourself here, what are you known for? What problems do you solve? Here's an example. I just gave an example, but another one is maybe you're a dependable team lead, right? Maybe you went from a dependable team lead to a strategic voice on a care delivery floor. Or maybe you went from being a dependable worker to now you're dependable when it comes to working through workforce processes in your team. Maybe you went from being a dependable team lead to now you're actually the visible voice of reason for employees throughout your organization. And then you're able to put together like some talking points to help people manage how they get through those particular issues that they're facing at work, right? So these are all examples where you shifted from being the executor to expert. So ask yourself, how can I shift from just working to being known as the expert within the team that I work for, within the organization that I work for? Shift number 2, you want to go from an invisible contributor to a visible authority, right? So we're talking about that visibility. It kind of gets back in the brand. You want to build your leadership narrative here. This is where you're either speaking on panels, you're posting insights, you're mentoring others, or you're creating your signature POV, which is your point of view, whatever your signature point of view is. So we're trying to get visible here. An example would be you started sharing a weekly insight on LinkedIn. Just weekly. You said, okay, I can't be visible. I'm not Patrick. I don't create videos. I don't create a lot of content. That's not my thing. I'm more of a head down hustler, but I still want to be visible. I'm not a content creator. I'm not an influencer, none of that, Patrick. So I don't want to do any of that. But I do want you to create your brand. I do want you to be visible. So I want you to think of it like this. What kind of weekly tips or insights can you contribute where other people start leaning into what you actually bring to the table on a weekly basis? Remember what we're looking for. We're trying to take our career from here to here, right? Sometimes your career success is going to come outside of the organization that you work for today. Am I telling you that, hey, you need to freshen up your resume and go apply for other positions? Absolutely not. I'm not telling you this. What I'm telling you is we need to attract opportunities just from putting ourselves out there, right? So maybe this is just a weekly insight on LinkedIn. Guess what that creates? Now you become the radar of a cross department, excuse me, you're on the radar for cross departmental projects because leaders with inside your organization, now they see you're visible even outside of the organization. Or there's recruiters within your industry, they notice how visible you are and they lean into what you're actually putting out there across social media and they find that insightful, powerful, and it creates an opportunity for them to connect with you, right? So think about what is that one or two things that you can do like on a weekly basis to make yourself visible. Shift number 3, go from asking for more to attracting more. A lot of us, man, a lot of us out here, one, we want more, and then we go ask for more, and then you get rejected, and then you get shut down mentally. And so you stop asking altogether. And what happens? Now you find yourself working for an organization 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, 15 years, and you're just there, but you're unfulfilled. You're not happy anymore. Why is that? Because you got shut down the first time. You got shut down. So we asked for more, but we didn't get more. So how do I go from asking for more to attracting more? Well, here's what you need to do. You need to leverage your results, not just your efforts. A lot of people, I went back to the analogy before, culturally, we think we go to the office, we bust our tails, we get our degrees, and that hard work is going to equal a better opportunity. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. We want to leverage our results here. So your results are things that you brought to the table, things that you've done differently, what you've contributed to the organization, those metrics. That's what leaders are looking for. We're looking for metrics right here. And then what you want to do here is you want to influence up. Then you want to showcase your outcomes. A lot of us, we're trying to influence our circle downwardly, but we're not influencing our circle upwardly. Meaning you're really, really good at your little small team that you're part of your circle and when your organization, you're really, really good at getting them to see how hard you work. But leadership is not seeing how hard you work or what you contribute to the table. This is where leverage happens. Leverage is what I've contributed, using that, packaging that in such a way, and then showcasing your outcomes that it makes you undeniably visible to leadership. So leverage your results. Part of this, you can leverage your results. Most organizations, they have like, monthly or biannually or yearly one-on-ones with your supervisor, right? Some people have it weekly. And then this is where I want to talk about what I bring to the table. I want to leverage the data. I want to talk about how I converted over 65% of my sales for this particular week, right? I want to talk about the outcome, the patient outcomes that I was able to deliver this particular week. I want to talk about whatever it was, and then I want to keep a wins journal so I can share that as well. Here's an example here. You may have led a project that improved readmission rates, right? And then you use that data to negotiate a raise for yourself. This is when you use the data. You can't ask for something without providing not only the talking points, but the proof metrics that show why you should actually get that raise or why you should actually get that opportunity. So this is your win folder here. I want to ask you something. I want to ask all you guys something. Which shift hit the hardest right now? 1, 2, or 3? Number 1 was the shift from the executor to expert, right? So we're shifting from being an executor, the hard worker, to an expert, or the shift 2, which is going from the invisible contributor to the visible authority, or shift number 3 is asking for more and attracting more, right? You can drop 1, 2, or 3 in the comments and we'll get back to those. Section 3, how we doing on a time check? We're doing really, really good. This is great. So section 3, what high performers are doing differently. You may think of yourself as a high performer, but high performers, they work differently, right? 3 steps or three things that high performers do, and they do it quite well. 1 is they audit their value. Always, they audit their value. Like they know what they bring and how it translates to business or outcomes. High performers, they know what they bring and how it translates to business outcomes. Let me tell you this. I was an executive for multiple organizations. And when either if I'm looking at existing team members or someone that I'm hiring on my team, what I'm looking for is I'm not looking for perfect people. I'm not looking for people who don't make mistakes, because what I realize, everybody's human. We're all going to make mistakes. But high performers, what they do well, this is what I'm looking for when I'm hiring somebody. A high performer is that somebody who knows how to self audit themselves. Like, they know when they effed up, they know when they made a mistake, but what they're good at is going back and realizing, okay, this is where I fell short. This is what I need to do differently to get myself back on track. Right. So that's that self auditing yourself. Right. One of the things that, I've done I managed a lot of different people, but I enjoyed managing salespeople, because salespeople, like, they're normally that extroverted type of personality. They enjoy being visible. They enjoy putting themselves out there, which is great. I enjoy mentoring people like that. Salespeople generally think that if I can earn whatever I bring to the table, meaning I can increase my value by delivering results. That's how a lot of salespeople think, right? And when I'm mentoring or coaching a salesperson, I'm looking for that person who realizes not only when they mess up, but then they can auto correct themselves, or they just need a little bit of coaching to help them get back to, the superstar they used to be. Here's an example here. So when you self audit yourself, let's say you're a salesperson or any particular role, when you self audit yourself and then you're not performing at the level that you're accustomed to performing, what you want to do is you want to go back and say, okay, where did I fall short, and how can I get to the next level where I need to be, or get back to who I used to be in that particular system. And what happens is, generally speaking, you fall short because you fell off the process. Whatever that process was for your organization, you stopped following that process and you started doing more impromptu. You started letting your personality show more than a process, which is cool. I'm not telling you don't allow your personality to come forward. What I'm telling you is use your personality, but get back to the basics. What was our process in the beginning? How many touches do we need to have? What does our follow-up looks like? How frequently we follow up? What is your messaging for follow-up? When are you actually getting management involved in the process to help you move the sale forward? So these are the things that I'm looking for from a salesperson, right? And then what they're thinking is, you know what, Pat? I didn't do follow-up right. In fact, I wasn't even working my CRM, which is your customer relation management system. So I wasn't working my CRM properly. And because of that, I fell off. And when I fell off, now I realize I need to go back and work that a little bit more. I need more touch points. In fact, when I went to that last conference, I wasn't as engaged as I needed to be. So I wanted to get more engaged. And like they start auto-correcting themselves. You think of any position, are you auto-correcting yourself when you go back to the office? The other thing too is positioning strategically. Like, people that are strategic, are positioning themselves strategically, they don't just work hard, like, they manage how they're perceived. Let me pause there. When you're positioning yourself strategically, it's not about how hard you work, it's about how people perceive you. So for me, and I'm only sharing for me, half the battle for me was just, you know what, I want to show up. I want to show up in a way where I'm visible, but people find me like I'm already stepping into the leadership role. So you see what I'm saying? My crisp shirt, my blazer on, it made sense for me. So I wanted to show up that way. I'm stepping in. Before I even got the title, I'm looking like freaking I'm a manager of the organization. I'm looking like the executive that's running the organization. I'm looking like the face of the organization. So for half of us, it could be, how are you showing up to the office, right? It may just start personally. How are you, presenting yourself? The other thing too is, what is your attitude? If your attitude is not on par with the direction that the company is going to, then that could be another reason why you haven't positioned yourself strategically. So one, you step into the position looking right. Two, your attitude is spot on. And then three, we're actually strategically creating value within the organization outside of my little group, but I'm making sure leadership can actually see the things that I bring to the table. Let me see, what am I missing here? Oh, building communities. Another thing, building communities. We need to build communities. And these communities, they align. Like, when you build a community, I want you to think of this. What kind of community can I be a part of? And some of the people that should be a part of that community. Some of the people that should be a part of that community could be like mentors, it could be coaches, and it could be a network of people that affirms your leadership traits and style. So think about this. If I'm trying to get to the next level, what does my community look like? And how can I use my community to help me elevate? It should include your mentors, your coaches, and then a network of leadership. When you think of building your community, I want you to target, let's start small. Let's start small. Let's target 25, maybe 25 people that we would like to connect with. And let's target 25 organizations that we would like to work for, right? We can think of those two things. One is the people that I would like to connect with, and then the organizations. And a lot of us initially think, okay, what I need to do is I need to go and connect with all 25 of those people, or I need to connect with all 25 of those organizations. No, that's not what you need to do. What you need to do is put yourself in the orbit, in the circle of those 25 people. Put yourself in the orbit, in the circle of those 25 organizations, and then be a contributor with the community that you develop. And eventually your targets will see you. You see what I'm saying? If you put yourself in that circle, then eventually your target that's already the hub of that circle, they're going to see the contributions you bring to that circle. And then you get other people within that circle start talking about you and the value that you bring. And then it's going to create a spotlight on you, which now gets in front of your target audience. You see what I'm saying? It gets in front of that dream job. It gets in front of that dream recruiter. It gets in front of that dream employer, whatever. So build your community and make sure it includes your mentors, your coaches, and your network. Let me see how we're doing here. I want to tap in and see if I got any questions here before I move on to the next one. All right, thank you for tapping in, Lachey. I got all the questions here. We're working through that. So I put something special together. I want to make sure there's no questions. If you have any questions, please drop them now, and I will work through them. I think we got like 3 minutes left. So a couple of things I want to do right here. I want to invite you to the next step of what I'm doing. And I'm only doing this because there's been so many people hitting me up for this. So if you know me, I create fire content to help you identify with who you are as a leader, some of the issues and problems that you may face. And I'm very visible with it. Like my last one I just dropped was talking about depression and how depression hits you as a leader. Well, I talk about various different things that we may face as leaders to help you identify and understand that you're not alone in the struggle. I too have been through these various things. I too have faced these challenges, even that I talk about now, but I've came out of it and now I'm in a position to help you get to the next level. So I want to invite you to my next step, which is my Career Accelerator Mentorship Program. It's early access is open right now. The membership is designed for pros who are done waiting, right? You're ready to lead. And you want that mentorship, you want that strategy, you want that support in a private setting versus being, in this visible format, in a private setting that can help you elevate, get to the next level. What you're going to get for this, you're going to get training, you're going to get monthly hot seats. So that's me telling you how to move past various things. You're going to get templates, visibility plans, and there's going to be so much more. In fact, I think right now, if you go and sign up, you may get a free copy of my digital audio book of Hustling to the Top, which is a modern guide for scaling your career. The audio version is really dope. I hired somebody to do a recording. I thought he did a phenomenal job. So I think that's included as well if you sign up, and you get all this for only $47 a month. So if you think of it, for $47, we're going to give you the tools and the tips to help you get to the next level of your career elevation. I think that's a great investment. And we'll talk about other investments that you can probably make behind the scenes as well. Let me see if I can drop this in the chat box, see if that works. If not, I will go later and drop this back in, so you can always reference that link, or you can use the link in my bio. You can access it there as well. So here's the wrap up as we got a couple of minutes here. Key talking points here. Doing more, it isn't the problem, right? Doing more without strategy, visibility, or leverage, that's the problem. So more without strategy, visibility, or leverage, that's your problem. You don't need another degree. You don't need another certificate. You don't need a new direction. What you need is strategy, visibility, and leverage. You're not stuck because you're not talented. You're stuck because the system rewards what it sees. So that means we need to be visible. And my call to action right here, I would love for you to tag a colleague that really needs to hear this message. Like, share this with somebody. That's the only way I become visible too, is through repost and share. So please share this message. The other thing too is other call to action. DM me. Just go ahead and DM me break if you want early access to the Career Accelerator program, and then I can share the link directly with you there as well. And then make this the last season that you're overworked and undervalued. Like, the cycle stops today. So let's get you to the next level. And I'm going to leave you with this. Hard work got you here. Strategy will get you there. Let's hustle smarter. Until next time, talk to you soon.